This Easter, I would like to do a little bit of a comparison of the process that the caterpillar in its transformation going into being a butterfly does to the Easter process, which all of us have experienced many times. Essentially, the Easter process didn't happen just once, long ago, to Jesus, to one person in Palestine 2,000 years ago. Rather, this is something that's happening all the time in nature, and in everybody's individual lives, and in yours also. You have had times when you have been down and lost and sad or defeated or unpleasantly reminded of your inadequacies or whatever, and you found a way to get through that and to move on to a happier place, to a place where you're living the life that more reflects your hopes and dreams. This is the Easter process. It is a resurrection from death into life. Just as the caterpillar at some point decides, and who knows why, it's time to build a cocoon, we have been called, not necessarily by our own choosing, but have been called to build a cocoon around ourselves, to sequester ourselves away from others, to make a safe haven for us by not interacting with others, by not doing so much, by not being as socially active as we were, by finding a way to shelter at home. And in so doing, we are essentially making a chrysalis, the cocoon phase of the caterpillar. Sometimes, in your spiritual growth and development, you will be in need of a protective shell, a place to hide away, a retreat, a safe haven, someplace where you can go to feel a sense of safety and allow yourself essentially to dissolve as you once were, to no longer be clearly defined as your previous self, where we no longer feel the clear definition of who we were by what we did and by who we hung out with and where we went on a habitual basis. Those rules have changed. And now we're sequestered into this quiet place, and we're being asked, being invited to be transformed. You may come out of this a different person, more yourself than you've ever been, more a butterfly than you were a caterpillar. Maybe you were always destined to fly. Transformation in the story about Jesus comes with an actual death. And he goes and he's put into a tomb, into a chrysalis in essence. In this chrysalis he becomes the Christ. He becomes the Jesus Christ, somebody that we recognize as special. Special but not necessarily different from us. He, in the sense of his capacity to evolve, is reflected also in us. We all have the Christ nature within us, but he had brought it to fullness. And in his death and in his resurrection, we see the pattern for each of us, both what unity and what this development of the Christ is all about, is essentially to disidentify with yourself as a body and to begin to more greatly identify with yourself as the Spirit, as the presence, as the Christ presence. Because the Christ presence never dies. This spirit of yours is not subject to the body's experience. It is something transcendent. And as we move our identity away from body and brain and we move towards spirit, we begin to have wings. The wings of the butterfly, the wings of angels, the wings of transcendence. We have wings that take us to a different place. We're about the heart and the soul finding full expression of itself. We're about realizing that we're not just this separate, isolated individual, but we are one with each other. We collectively are the only begotten of God. All of us are the child of God. You're not called to be just like Jesus. You're called to be just like you. A unique, powerful expression of the divine. Imagine if we all in our collective consciousness as our Son of Godness all together began to be imaginal selves ourselves, for ourselves and for each other, to reimagine how society might be. One that is kinder and gentler, one that is devoted to things that endure, not just to the things that we can gain. Those things that endure of love and compassion and friendship, of taking care of those who have less. Our beginning to be that is coming about by our mere concentration on the possibilities. It begins to start the seed thought that spreads out throughout all of humanity, because in essence there is essentially one of us here. In this collective consciousness which we use as ourselves, we can influence by the way we feel and think, the way we imagine, the things we picture, the things we lean into, can be a new future for us and for the whole world, that lives like a butterfly, that lives in freedom, that lives in beauty, whose essence cannot be controlled by the gravity of earthly circumstances, but flies beautifully along the wind of love and light. It is through the mind of God that these thoughts are transmitted, and let us send our thoughts out there. That this power that we all share, this Christ nature, this beautiful essence of who we are, might be liberated from its drudgery, from its subjugation to the ego, and move into its kingship and queenship of who it really is. So we hold ourselves to a higher standard, to the standard of the butterfly, not to the standard of the caterpillar. Let us be who we have come here to be. This is our time. And may this be a profound Easter for you. May the Christ of your being find its full expression in this lifetime.